Your next stop is Impassive.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to my queens and kings around the globe. I want to welcome everyone here. You know why? Because you guys have other places to go, but you decided to come here and attend Julie Pierre Empowering Humanity. At this moment, I am going to hand it over to Queen Debbie McCormick. Queen Debbie, are you available, please?
Yes, Dr. Benny. In this family, we are always available. We were born ready, as we learned from Dr. Derek. Thank you very much for the lovely greetings. We appreciate you. And as the webinar is going on this beautiful Wednesday evening, and today is September 4th, 2024, I have the pleasure to be working with several people on this forum. But I want to introduce one unique person to each and every one of us, especially those who are not here with us, who are watching virtually and will be watching us in the future. This one unique person is from a family of 11, and her name is Queen Julie Pierre. She has this platform called Empowering Humanity with her. We are blessed to have her because although she's from a family of 11, she has 3 of her own kids, and she has been with Unpassive for over 3 years. She's very special because she's a God-fearing woman who has decided on her own to bring us together for a unique reason. Please, let us welcome our smiley sister, who is here to empower humanity, and we are here to support her in every aspect. Rain or shine, thunderstorm or not, we are here. Let's welcome with open arms our darling, lovely sister, Julie Pierre. Over to you, sis.
Thank you, Sister Debbie. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Pat, Dr. John, Dr. Benny, our sister Joyce Hicks, and Engineer Mike. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for coming once again to this amazing platform. Today, I want us to look at financial freedom and retirement. This is what my word will be on today. Embarking on the path of financial freedom is not just about following financial advice. It's about defining what a financial free life looks like to you. Let's take a moment to reflect on your vision of financial freedom. Is it the ability to work on your terms? The security of a robust savings account? Or perhaps the joy of living debt-free? Take a moment and consider your unique goals and aspirations. Your financial decision should align perfectly with your dreams and lifestyle. Budgeting is your roadmap to financial success. It's about understanding where your money goes and reallocating resources to prioritize savings and investments. Financial freedom is having enough savings, investments, and cash on hand to afford the lifestyle you want for yourself and your family. It also means budgeting to grow a nest egg that will allow you to retire or pursue any career you want. Unfortunately, Too many people fall short, far, far short of financial freedom, and hence will be unable to retire with ease. Being financially independent means having sufficient income, savings, or investments to live comfortably for life and meet all of one's obligations without relying on a paycheck. That is the ultimate goal we should plan for in order to be able to retire with ease. Retirement brings a new sense of freedom, but it also comes with challenges and difficult emotions. It's a change in identity, finances, relationships, and how you spend your time. No wonder it can be difficult to adjust. You've likely thought of a lot about how you will enjoy your golden years, but there is a good chance you never thought much about the psychological effects retirement might have on you. Retirement often means a loss of identity and can cause you to question who you are now that you are no longer working. Other issues accompanying retirement, such as more time and less money, can also make a difficult adjustment. Some retirees experience mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. Preparing for these emotions, creating a sense of structure, creating financial freedom are strategies that can help you to adjust. Retiring from the workforce can be a chance to reconnect with your greatest passions and, most important, your goals. It depends on what you choose to do in your retirement. You can try new experiences, develop new skills, and devote more time to the people and hobbies you love. It's all up to you. As a retiree, you no longer have to deal with work-related deadlines. You are free to have fun and do what you want on your own terms. So you need to plan for this. Make sure you are free of certain financial burdens like a mortgage, student loans, and credit card debts. You should be able to feel happier, more relaxed, and less anxious in retirement than at any time in your adult life. During your working years, leisure often means relaxing and getting away from structure. But in retirement, it's more about engaging in activities and connecting with people. So you need to identify activities that can help keep you physically active, mentally stimulated, and engaged in opportunities for socialization and fulfillment. So remember that retirement is all about freedom and choice. Without the restrictions of full-time work, how do you envision spending your hours? Would you just not rather focus on having more enjoyable experiences than on buying more stuff? Would you not want to have increased flexibility and freedom to do the things you want to do? Some of the things we need to do and we can look at doing for retirement are: 1, get or stay healthy. 2, relax. 3, connect with family. 4, have fun. 5, make or expand social connections. 6, learn. 7, grow spiritually. 9, give back. And 10, travel the world. Satisfy your wonder list. With no limits on your vacation time, you can get out and explore the world. Retirees have the flexibility to go on extended holidays and take advantage of last-minute deals. You should be able to enjoy regular trips dedicated to hiking, golfing, shopping, or the arts. Your choices might be domestic destination, or you can go further to explore places like the Caribbean, the beautiful paradise island of St. Lucia, Europe, or Latin America. The happiest retirees are those who took at least 3 vacations each year. Simply planning a trip can boost happiness levels because you are anticipating the good times, hence enhancing your health and well-being. Do you dream of a vacation at sea? Cruises are popular amongst retirees because it offers an almost all-inclusive experience that lets you see different places every day. Retirement could be the perfect time to get that degree also you always wanted, or just learn about a subject that fascinates you. Hobbies give you something interesting and fun to do, either on your own or as part of a group. Some may be gardening, sailing, dancing, baking and cake decorating, antique collection, reading, bird watching, singing, horseback riding, walking or hiking, etc., etc. You could also donate your time. It will give you a sense of purpose and let you contribute to a greater good. Get involved in sports, and this comes with a whole lot of health benefits. You can improve your flexibility, boost your immune system, and keep your heart and lungs healthy. Even though you may not be interested in sports, you can keep fit and stay active. Go swimming, biking, or take walks. This will help you get a better sleep at nights. Mentor others. Share your expertise with the youth. This will keep you alert and active. Join a club. Be social. Learn a new skill. Care for your pets. Make crafts. Play games. Go to summer camps as a family or just chill. Not every moment of your retirement needs to be packed with activities. Everyone needs a little downtime time now and then. So don't feel guilty about watching TV or taking naps if that's what you feel like. After all, you've earned this time. If you want to relax and do so absolutely nothing, go for it. For many people, retirement is the most relaxing and enjoyable time in their lives. You are free to indulge in a range of activities that keep you interested and engaged. So think about your goals and dreams and start now. Work on your financial freedom to make your retirement enjoyable. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Back to you, Sister Debbie or Sister Joyce.
Oh my goodness, Queen Sister Julie. You have sent us on a trip of financial preparedness. But before we can embark on that trip, we have to visit the beautiful island of St. Lucia. And I tell you, I have it on the radar. I do have it on our radar. I've been to a lot of islands, and I really love every island I've been to. I'm looking forward to being to that St. Lucia, and you better be ready to be my tour guide when we show up.
Oh, I will.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. That was an impeccable talk you had there. I have so many points. I don't want to pretend to go through them, but the ones that I think we should remember is the debt-free that you talked about, especially for retirees. Just go debt-free, no mortgages, no loans, no credit cards, and most importantly, to learn new hobbies, exercise, mentor others. Because whatever you have acquired during your years of working in any private, public, or for yourself, it's always good to find some people in your inner circle or just in your community and mentor them. Because the knowledge that you have acquired, you do not want to take it away with you when your time comes. You want to share. You want to mentor somebody so that person can say, oh, I climbed the ladder because XYZ showed me how. That is a very, very strong message you've just shared with us. Thank you so much, Sister Julie. Very much appreciated. And you continue to empower humanity, especially us here, because we came here for a reason, to learn, and you are making us learn. I appreciate that very much. Now, this platform works in collaboration with a lot of people. I have my lovely sister who works with me. She's not from the beautiful island of St. Lucia, but she's from the beautiful state of Michigan, not too far from me in Illinois. Her name is Sister Joyce Hicks. We see her every Wednesday here. I'm going to call on her to do what she does best. And you're looking so stunning today, sis. Thank you very much, Sister Joyce. You look stunning. Keep it up. Over to you.
Thank you, Sister Debbie. Bless you so much. Oh, you did such an, I love working with you. Just a pleasure. And you have taught me so much. I've learned so much from you, and I just appreciate you for everything that you do. In front of the scene, behind the scene, and everywhere that you go. So you're everywhere, your eyes on every platform, and I appreciate you. Again, as everyone said, welcome to Julie Pierre's Empowering Humanity. We're excited on tonight to be here, and we are just ready to learn. We know that we're going to get some great information on tonight. I'm here to introduce our speaker. Everybody knows and loves our speaker. He is very well respected in the passive community. He works tirelessly and so hard to help anyone. He's just always here for us, and he means so much to us. He's so special to us, and we just appreciate him for being here on tonight. I do want to thank Dr. Benny for always being here and welcoming everyone. Engineer Mike, Sister Debbie, Dr. Pat behind the scenes, and she does so much behind the scenes that you guys don't even know, and we just couldn't make this without her, so we appreciate her. And of course, our beautiful, lovely Julie from the island of St. Lucia, Engineer Mike. I had to say it, okay. From the beautiful island of St. Lucia. We just appreciate you so much for this platform. Thank you, everyone, for being here, supporting Julie. She really appreciates you, and we know that we wouldn't have a show without you. So we just appreciate each and every one of you for being here. As I said, our speaker tonight is just so special to us. He amplifies the heart of OnPassive, and he works in finance, and he works in so many areas, but this just just resonates with what he does, because on tonight he's teaching us about retirement planning for women in retirement, which is so important about retirement. I mean, everyone in that's retiring, but for women, I believe this is going to be great. Get your pens and pencils out and get ready to take some information. It's none other than our brother, Dr. John, and we love him. We appreciate him. He's always educating everyone. He shares from his heart, and you could ask Dr. John anything at all, and he will. If he has an answer, he will let you know. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he shares that knowledge with us every time mostly every Wednesday. He always has something great to say. When he's presenting, he has so much information that we take it in, and we just soak it in like sponges. We're there, we're listening so intensely. So we're just so excited to have Dr. John on tonight. Please help me welcoming our own Dr. John. If you don't know him, you will tonight. So thank you, Dr. John. The mic is yours. Thank you so much.
Wow. Good evening, Sister Joyce and Sister Debbie. Why, Queen Julie Pierre, you can actually start. I see the way that you tell us where to go visit, and you sail that beautiful island of St. Lucia in. You sneaked in it in. I was waiting to hear whether you tell us to vacation in New Jersey or something like that, and you conveniently missed it anyway. So thank you very much for that mindset and for what you just shared with regards to what we need to be thinking. And we're really in a blessed and a place here, because one of the greatest things that this unpassive opportunity has given us is to be able to dream again. Because some of the things that you have talked about, that's really the stuff that dreams are made of. If you think about a typical retirement, is somebody is forced out of the labor force at a certain age, then they rapidly run out of money, and they have to then go back to Sam's Club, Walmart, or some place like that to make ends meet, clip coupons left, right, and center, and then suffer some severe healthcare issues, and unfortunately live a longer period of time than some of them spend in the workforce in a not so comfortable situation. But you just gave us a picture of what it could really be if we get the right mindset, what we could do with that God-given time and transform the doom and gloom to something much more useful and impactful. So again, thank you very much for sharing that information, especially talking about the idea that retirement always comes with adjustments, and that the idea of having that financial freedom or financial readiness for retirement is critical, so that you can do all those great things you talk about, visit 3 islands in a week if you can, or whatever number. And I remember we when we saw a couple that basically said they spend 9 months on a cruise ship, and they go from one ship to another. They just landed Fort Lauderdale and they transferred into another cruise ship and went to another part, because they were retired and they found pleasure in visiting many places. They were on those beautiful ships, and everything was taken care for them. They didn't have to think about bills, and they didn't have to think about cleaning and all that good stuff. No electricity bills. 9 months in a year, that's how this couple lived their life. They must have planned it and they enjoyed it. And then for 3 months, when they're home, they spend the 3 months between their grandkids. So they were living a good life and a free life. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight is to really look at, when we talk about retirement, I wanted to really focus on retirement planning more for our queens and the queens to be. Why? because if I just take a step back, like the last week or the last time we met, we talked about strategies that you can put in place during different phases of our lives to actually ensure that the financial freedom our sister talked about is achieved when we choose to go to retirement. I'm saying when you choose to go to retirement, not when you're forced to go to retirement. Many of us are being forced to go to retirement, hopefully, when we find ourselves in non-passive and the opportunities that this is going to give us, there will be some of us that would actually choose, and that choice is made based on careful planning and putting the right infrastructure in place. So the question somebody will ask is, why did I really think it's necessary to talk specifically about our queens and queens to be even our youngsters? Because if you look at it critically, you know, women are like, uniquely gifted. You can look at it from those two pictures that I just put on the screen. It's like a trapeze acid tossing millions of balls in the air and trying to keep them all afloat, whether it's the family, it's work, it's kids, it's school, everything. And that's why, when you guys think that us men, we cannot parallel process, is because you brought up in this chaotic world and you live in it, and some of us can simply not live in that chaotic world where somebody on a
Excuse me,
motorcycle.
Dr. John. I'm sorry. Your mic is muffled and mute. So you're breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
It's still there, still breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So I'm saying here that, it's only when you deal with ladies that you can see the picture on the right-hand side. It really paints a good picture of somebody trying to balance on a motorcycle. That's a feat on its own with very high heels. Again, that makes it almost impossible. But at the same time, thinking about the baby, the house, the work, the time, the money, and all those stuff, those things, that's how women literally live their lives, really juggling all these balls in the air. And what traditionally has happened when it came to retirement, at least, again, most of the information I'm going to share is from the US context, but I think it applies globally or to some extent, was one of those things that the woman was at home, took care of the home, had the babies. The husband went to work, maybe to war or to the coal mines or wherever. And then they come back, and when the woman retires, they've taken care of the husband, and the husband sort of predeceases her, leaves her alone, and then she has to fend for herself during the golden years of her life. And that was really how the planning went. Stayed at home, hope that the husband gets enough for you to be able to manage along when he is retired, or both of you are retired, or when he is gone. And the truth of the matter is that when we look at it, and I was trying to look yesterday to see if these statistics have actually changed, these numbers I'm sharing here, they date back to around 2000, 2001, 2002. The dynamics, not only in the US, but globally, has changed. Women basically are no longer just stay at home and wait. And we know that a single family income, especially in the Western culture, will probably not sustain a family. So when you look at where the women are today, we actually have a situation where, if you look at it from the point of bachelor's degrees, more than 57% of all women, of the bachelor's degrees that are awarded, like in the United States, are to women. The master's degrees, the number is actually 65% as of 2023. And a doctoral degrees is about 55% as of 2023. So you can see that from an educational point of view, the women in all those categories are more than 50%. And if you take a step back and even think about the population of the world, I think with the exception of Pakistan, there is no other country where the women are in a minority. So you see that from an educational point, from even the women in the workforce, how many percentage of women are there right now, even with the obstacles and the challenges that women face. And as of now, I think the number is about 53% in professional and managerial occupations. And if you look at it just in the US alone, let's ignore the few of us who are in non-passive here. We have over 14 million women-owned businesses right now. So the old dynamics of how women retire and what should happen or what are some of the considerations for them no longer applies. And when we look at it again, in spite of all this, the statistics that I showed you, the women still face a lot of hurdles in preparing for retirement. It is well documented that for the same jobs, women still get paid less than men. Rightly or wrongly, these are the latest numbers, 81 cents for every dollar. And when you look at the fact that a woman have to actually take time, have children, bring up the family, and then go back to work, every year that they spend out of workforce really is like 3 times that annual income that they lose out in a year's in their lifetime from doing that. So if somebody actually ends up staying out for about 9 years because they had to have a family, then that could easily be the equivalence of 27 years of their salary over their lifetime that they had lost by doing what God actually created them to be able to do for humanity. And then when you look at longevity, again, this is a US number as of 2017. I didn't check to see how it's updated. There are like 2 women for every 1 man over the age of 85. And you say, why is that important? We'll touch on that. What of the other things that the women do? If you think about it critically, by the maternal instincts that women have, they tend, in most cases, to be caregivers. And a lot of them tend to be unpaid caregivers. And so you see that a lot of women actually end up providing unpaid care. Hold on a minute, excuse me 1 second. Let me just sort something out here. Are you getting me clearer, or is it my audio still messing up?
You
We're
are
getting
loud
you
and
clear.
clear.
Okay.
Yes, very clear.
Sorry, I just wanted to check. So you find out that a lot of women, they're into caring, the care that they give to kids. And the honest truth is that you queens, you take care of us, the men. And then, as I talked about the 2-to-1 ratio over 85, what we do is either because of our biology, our carelessness, or just statistics, the men tend to just predecease the women and they leave you there without a partner, without a caregiver, but the men have been taken care of comfortably. And 1 in 3 women over the age of 75, they actually have a spouse that they care for. Can you imagine that this is somebody who needs help, but they're also caring for others. And so what we have found out is that this healthcare, this caring for others actually has a big impact on women's abilities to be able to save for themselves. And it also comes with a lot of stress and emotional, both physical and emotional stress that nobody talks about. So when Queen Julie was talking about, taking care of those adjustments and being mentally prepared when you move into retirement. These are some of the things that women would just jump into doing because of love, and nobody really thinks about the impact on them. And then again, that statistic of 2 to 1 over 85, you see that the longer life expectancy comes with greater expenses as well. In the US, I think we mention the statement that sometimes when people talk about the 401k, and somebody said that could almost be $401,000, which is like the cost of health care in retirement. And it happens there that when you talk to women over the age of 50 and say, you know, how confident are you that you'll be able to live your dreams and also be able to cover your health care costs? A lot of them, actually, very few percent of them are very comfortable that that will be the situation. Excuse me. And then if you look at this idea of long-term care, it is such a critical aspect of preparing for retirement, in the sense that most of the women, they end up, again, looking at the longevity, living alone. Spouses predeceased them. They've taken or provided all the care to the husband. The husband or the partner is gone, and they now are living by themselves. And you see there that there is really nobody to provide them with that emotional comfort. There is nobody to prepare them as to where should I really be able to go and talk to some other person. How will I be able to fund this? So these become some of the real big challenges that women face. Let's just look at the latest. I think this was as of 2001, and it's the graph. There are three graphs here. The black one on the left is for males. The green in the middle is for females, and the yellow or the orange is for spouses. So it's saying there that if you look at somebody who gets to the age of 65, there is a 50% chance that a male will get to that a 50% chance that a male will get to the age 86, a 50% chance that a female living by themselves will get to 88, and a 50% chance that a couple, one of them will live to 92. And if you want to shift down to the ages of about 92, 94, and 96, based on the current assessment, there is like a 1 in 4 chance that a single man could live to 92, a 1 in 4 chance that a single female will live to 94, and a 1 to 4 chance that at least one person in a couple relationship will live to 96. And you keep saying why the couple graph shifts to the right is just because, as I mentioned, there is some of that emotional assistance, and the fact that even when you have two people in the household, two people living together, you know, if one person falls or there's some emergency in the night, there is always the other one to call for help versus somebody who is living by themselves. That said, this graph basically says there that when we look at, maybe if I go back here, somebody who retires at 65, then there is a possibility that 1 in 4 of those people could actually live for another 30 years. So if you're gonna be there for 30 years, what do you have in place, as Queen Julie was saying earlier, to be able to have that financial freedom to do whatever it is that you dream to do? At the moment, depending on where you are, There are some social service securities that will be able to provide for some monies. There are pensions that may be able to provide. There are savings that may be able to provide. But all of these things, we need to be able to plan for them ahead of time. And if you look at those, for example, in America, for say, it shows that for women over the age of 50, maybe the social security that they get can support them to 62% of their income or their requirements, and men would be about 41%. Okay, the men with 41%, if you think about it, the women will be there to help them. When the man is not there, the ladies still have a gap to be able to sustain themselves. And when you look at how much money we're even talking about for those of us in the US, the average age that most women typically would take their Social Security is about 64 and 6 months or 65. And it's about $1,200 a month. And the males typically, some of them would take a year later, and it's about $1,800 plus minus. That's the average. Some people, they take less, some take more. And the question is, do we actually have enough that we can we'll be able to live comfortably? That's why when they surveyed in the United States here, a survey that was done in 2017, when I checked for the latest update, I think was about 2 years, the numbers haven't changed drastically. But you see, only 1 in 3 women really feel comfortable that they would be able to understand and benefit from the Social Security infrastructure. And the question is, what happens now to the 7 out of 10 that are not sure and that do not even know where they're going to do it? This is where we need to start talking about it and saying some of the things that we had been sharing with you about savings, about being able to budget, about being able to get some plans that can provide health care for you or provide for long-term care for you. Those are the things that, especially again, for the women, it becomes important. Why do I keep saying that for the women? Is because in my works, whenever I sit down and I talk with couples, most of the time, when we're asking questions, the ladies turn and look at the husbands for the answers. The ladies 100% delegate the financial responsibility of a home that actually is built by the woman to the husband. Nothing wrong with that, except that in most cases, some of us or most of us, the men, we could be quite risky in our approach towards some of the investing. And we could, put the house's finances in a situation which may not actually be the best. Or in some cases, the men will actually go ahead and do a darn good job, invest, build the finances, but the woman does not have any clue as to what is happening in the household. And if the man is not there, they don't even know where the assets are. So one of the preparations for retirement for the women is not only to think about, yes, I think we are okay, but to also have access to some of those documents and the areas that we have talked in the past in terms of all those understanding where your assets are in a trust or in whatever instrument, at least you should be aware of them, because we have come across situations where one of the partners passes away, all the information was on their laptop. Nobody knows the password to that laptop or the password to the account. And some of these companies that have done a good job in securing your information may not be able to help you unlock those computers or even be able to link you with the the banks or the financial institutions that have access. So financial awareness and involvement is something that we would always preach, that the ladies get involved, not because you don't trust your partners, but because two is always better than one. And then when it comes to yourselves, the three things that I think every woman should have at the back of their mind is to think about, what will happen to me, if I live long. Typically, people get into the workforce at about, let's say 25. They get out at 65, that's 40 years. And then they live to about 90 years. So you've got almost another 30, 35 years of life that there's no income coming. And you have had to build that world that you need to think about, how is my nest egg going to last me in the event of longevity? What are some of the healthcare challenges that I may face? And what are the plans for me to be able to take care of myself when there is no one else? Because our kids are not going to take care of us, our spouses are not going to take care of us, and the system or the government is not going to take care of you. So when people think about longevity, one of the statistics that came out from a survey that was carried out by the Life Insurance Marketing Research Association of the United States came out with this idea that because of really either lack of knowledge and lack of planning, 69% of people are actually more afraid of outliving their savings, being broke in retirement, not being able to realize some of the dreams that they would have really wanted to do in retirement, and having to readjust their plans than being afraid of dying. So we need to, one, be able to look at and start putting in place some of those social infrastructures that are going to help you. And I think we're blessed in this platform in a way that we have found family that we may be able to turn to, even if it's a phone call to talk and uplift one another. But you may also need people local to you, a local club, a local, people that you may just be able to go out and work with, because some of the things that you realize is that loneliness actually could hasten your departure from this world, or it could make that retirement really, really not enjoyable. And then you have to think about, where am I going to get some income that would sustain me? And for those, the baseball analogy that people always say is, start by getting something to cover the bases. Something that can pay the bills, something that will provide you for your basic food, something that will guarantee that you have accommodation and you pay the basic utilities. When you have all those taken care of, you can sleep well at night, and you can then plan and say, okay, I'm gonna save $50 from my savings, from my food money for the next 3 months, and then hope that in the low season I can go to the beautiful island of St. Lucia and somebody is going to feed me there. But you need something that is going to be able to provide you with some sort of a regular source of income. That's where, if people who are lucky to have like pensions, that becomes important. If you have a social security like in the US or in other countries, those that would chip in a bit more. And if you have some other saving vehicles that you have set up to provide a constant stream of income, those would also become some very important part. Things like other sources of income, yes, those ones really are useful for you to be able to do those things over and above, but those also come with their own concerns of taxation and all that stuff. So what we talk about that people should do is look at it when you're planning yourself. You think about one of the worst things that you want to face as I mean, it's maybe a good idea if you are very rich in retirement. Yeah, pay your taxes, but if those taxes are going to eat into what you had budgeted, then that is not a very good thing for you to do. So we normally tell people to think about how taxes may impact them when they're in retirement, but more importantly, health and wealth go hand in hand. I cannot jump up and start taking a flight to go visit somebody in some place if I am not healthy. So at the very least, the first things you need to start doing is not to plan to be healthy when you're retired, but build in a healthy lifestyle as part of your journey towards retirement so that when you are at that point, the machine is still running smoothly for you to be able to go out there and do all the things that you want to do. That said, we know that just like any normal machine, the human body also goes through its own wear and tear, and the joints start aching, the muscles are no longer as strong, the heart doesn't pump as hard as it used to pump. And we find out that because of longevity, 80% of women, that's 8 out of 10, really see healthcare costs as a big, I would say, dream killer when it comes to retirement. And at the same time, it is one of those things that if we plan ahead of time, it can actually be mitigated. And this graph here is kind of a bit dated, but the trajectory has not changed. If we look at it like in the United States, the cost of healthcare has been going up at almost twice the cost of living. So if you think about inflation going at almost like 3-4% on the average, the cost of healthcare has been going up about 6+%. And I think this is true for other countries. And in some places, we may not even have that luxury of having that healthcare, which is going to cost. So that is something that we need to factor into our planning when we get into healthcare. For those in the US, they have a lot of healthcare options like the healthcare, the HSA plans, because those ones, if you qualify for, and especially those people who, when we start going into on-passive and you have to go and start getting your own personal plans, you may not be a bad idea to consider what they call the high deductible and put in the maximum money that they allow you to put into those plans, because when you put that money, you don't pay taxes on that money. And if you then use that money for health-related expenses down the line, those don't incur any taxes. So there are some things that we can actually talk about. As I mentioned, this again is specifically for the US, the health saving plans. Those are useful, and they'll be useful for anybody. Like once we're up and running with on-passive and you have to go get your own health plan, I would strongly recommend you get an HSA and you contribute 100% of what they allow you to be able to contribute into that plan. You don't pay taxes on that money. It grows tax deferred. And when you spend it for medical purposes, then that money becomes tax-free to you. And so you can actually see here how some of the coverages, I think it's $8,000 that you can set aside in some of those plans today. The other thing that we have to look at is when we look at how the health has been improving over the years, you see that there are some of the diseases that medical technology has really focused on, have really tended to have some significant decreases. Again, this is an older chart. I just browsed through. I didn't get some of the numbers, but order of magnitude, they were not much different. Things like breast cancers have reduced because of a lot of early screening and intervention. Heart attacks, they're down because, again, people are beginning to take a lot of care of themselves, and people are, listening to their bodies a lot more. Associated with heart attacks and strokes, you can see that those ones have actually also come down. But then one category where there is been almost a huge increase, and it continues to increase, is the cognitive impairment aspect of it, Alzheimer's, for example. And you understand why that is so, because this is a disease that is often associated with aging. And as many people get into older ages, it's expected that unless there is some major breakthrough, this is going to increase. And most of the people that are actually being assessed for these illnesses are increasing. That's why right now, for anybody who hears of the word long-term care in the United States, they normally mention that regarding what they call 6 activities of daily living, which include like being able to dress yourself, feed yourself in and out of bed, being able to actually control your bowels or continence. Some of those things, 2 of them will classify you as needing long-term care. Or if they actually see that you're cognitively impaired, that one criteria alone will qualify somebody for long-term care. So if you correlate this chart with the earlier one that I showed about the probability of somebody living to a certain age once they hit 65, you would see that women are more likely going to get to those ages where some of them will be affected by all these cognitive diseases and need some sort of care and support. Unfortunately, most of those tend to happen like in the mid to late 80s and 90s, when statistically some of the spousal partners are no longer there. So as part of the planning for a comfortable retirement and not having to stress your family, you need to be able to start thinking about, how am I going to be able to take care of myself in a comfortable situation when that time arrives. And the word long-term care, normally, when people throw it out, it's kind of, when I heard about it, I just thought long-term care was some old person in a nursing home. But in reality, it is not the right definition. It's really a spectrum of care that is provided to people, starting from their home all the way up to the what we call the residential care facilities. And since COVID, a lot of people really prefer care in their own home. So if you're offering care in your own home, then there are certain things that you know that, like say within the US here, people have some misconceptions that when they have what we call the Medicare, which is the health care for the seniors, that it provides for long-term care. No, it provides literally very limited care for up to 100 days. But long-term care could last for 3, 4, 5 years. So this is something that when it comes to the time, we need to be able to plan for it. A lot of people think maybe it's a waste of money. Some of them think that, the kids will take care of us, or that it is covered by some health insurance plans. Most of those health insurance plans typically do not cover them. So as part of thinking about and dreaming about what we need to do, the good news on some of these long-term cares, that especially with some of the companies I've been working with, is that they would actually provide that care for you anywhere in the world. So I can choose to actually go spend my time in St. Lucia, enjoy the beautiful weather there, and I can still have the company that is paying for that health provide me with the funds to get somebody that will care for me out there, as long as I have somebody that has certified me that I meet the criteria. In the past, it used to be geographically based, but now you can literally get it. Like if you're in the US and you get one of those with reputable companies, it is very, very portable and you can use it in some other countries. So what we're just saying is plan for those, because those costs are not cheap. The emotional impact on the caregiver is much, much more. And so we need to be thinking about it, and especially for our queens and the queens to be that are actually statistically going to live longer than us, the men. This is something to take care of, because when you look at the at-home services, this number here in the US now, the updated number here is like 56,000 a year for a home health aide. And if you're going to stay in like a private home in a nursing facility, it could be anything from $100,000 a year onwards. But again, it's a matter of thinking ahead, planning ahead, and then it should be easier to actually make sure that we take advantage of what systems are out there. We take advantage of the programs that are offered by our various governments, and also think about making sure that we are living healthy lives. Because as they say, we take the first 40 years of our lives to create the damage, and then we try to undo that damage in 2 years. The math doesn't work out. So it's a long-term process. We need to just stick on it. But whatever it is that we want to do, we want to be able to start early. And when we start early, with this great support network that Mr. Ash has actually enabled us to create across the globe, we should hopefully be able to help each other. We should hopefully be able to find locations where we can, leave where we are and go to another place to have a breath of fresh air, interact with each other, and hopefully live long and healthier lives through this process, and also be able to actually live a life that is really, how we call it, useful. So with that, I'm going to pause for now. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to hand it back to either Queen Joyce or Queen Debbie. And I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time to listen, knowing that although it was focused for our queens, those of us who are the men need to be able to encourage our queens to be thinking about these same things as well. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Dr. John. That was powerful. I think you were talking to me. It was like, oh my gosh. Everything that you said was just so much needed. Wow. I'm not going to try to recap everything because you said so much and you explained it so well, but you talked about women having higher degrees than men and overall in the United States. And yet we still earn 81 cents to every dollar for men, and then 2 to 1 women for men, and then planning for retirement, how important it is. And then all these things happen, and then we come to the end of, life, or when we get older, and then we still don't have enough to make it meet, because most of the time we haven't planned for it. And if we're outliving men, then, when they're gone, then that portion of our income is gone. So, I just said, I picked up out of this is so important to take care of your health, to make sure that you are knowledgeable about what's going on in your household with finances and where things are, just making sure that you are on top of that, that you're working together with your spouse or your partner, or husband, or whomever it may be, or your wife, that you're on top of it. So I'm just having these things in place and just being up on it and knowing where they are. And then that, making sure with the long-term care and health insurance and all those things that, wow, it was powerful and very impactful. We're going to do things a little different tonight, and we're going to take questions. If you have questions only right now for Dr. John, he said so much, and I know you answered a lot of things. And if you raise your hand, and you can ask a question to Dr. John, and he'll be glad to expound on something that you heard him say and you want him to explain it to you, just please raise your hand right now. We're going to have questions only for Dr. John. So if you have a question, and raise your hand, and if someone could help me in the chat, if someone has raised their hand on the screen, we can go from there and ask any questions. And I know, let me see, if anyone does not have a question, that Mirthlin, yes, go right ahead, my dear. The mic is yours. Let me see if we can open your mic, unmute you. There you go, Mirthlin. Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Good evening to everyone. You always talk to me. Every week you come here, darling, you talk to me. But something you said, you women, it is so true. In my line of work, I've come across many, many ladies whose husband controlled all the money, takes care of the house, and they're dead and gone, and they don't even know how to write a check. As simple as a check, they don't know how to write a check, they don't know where the money is. So that is something that we ladies have to really take notice of what he's saying and make sure that we have the passwords, we have copies of where everything are. So it's big. I've come across it many, many times in my line of work with the elderly. So I just wanted to reinforce that for we ladies. That's it.
Thank you, Mirthlin. That's
You're
so
welcome.
You're right. We have to make sure that we are involved and we know all these things, because it's so important, as Dr. John spoke on. It's something that happens, daily in life, and we find ourselves in a position where we're not informed and we don't know. So important. If anyone else has a question for Dr. John, please raise your hand. And we can continue from there. Vanetta. Hello. Did you have your hand up? Let me see if we can unmute you here.
Agree. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Everyone.
You are
Can you
unmuted.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So Dr. John, that was powerful, man. That was powerful. I worked in the healthcare field for many years, and I worked with, all kind of, physician, all kind of specialties. So, you're right on the money. But my question is, why is the emphasis so much more on women than it is on men, and the elderly women than elderly men?
So Queen Vinette, what I said was that I really wanted to if you heard my conclusion, I said that even the kings that are in this house need to actually take this and also make sure that they get involved. If you remember, if you just hear what Queen Medlin said, one of the biggest concerns one of the biggest things that observations we found is that we don't really want to go and control how people run their households, but what we're saying is, at least when I look at the woman really runs the home in most cases. And what they do is they manage the finances to the best of their abilities. And then those big ticket items are just that responsibility is trusted to the spouse. And I'm saying, great, trust that the responsibility, let them take care of it. But there are some of these things that even us men are not aware of, because you don't sit and start saying, oh, I'm going to die and leave my wife. We hope many people will say, maybe we'll go on the same day, but that's a maybe. And that's, hope is not part of a strategy. So the statistics actually show that if you saw the graphs I showed, and if you come across a lot of actuarians, if you look at life insurances and so on, they have enough data to show that the women always live longer than the men.
Yeah.
But in terms of family planning and in terms of really thinking about things, people do not consciously factor those in. It's not that the man is like being dubious or whatever. It's not, it's just that lack of awareness. And so what I'm trying to say is, ladies, this is the reality that you're going to face. You turn around, you find out that in a majority of cases, the men predecease the wives. And the wives, as Queen Madeline just said, some of them don't even know where to write it, how to write a check.
I've seen that. I've seen that many times.
And I shared the fact that sometimes all that information I may have, and I have the passwords. And if I have the passwords and I never share them with anybody, if I'm no longer there, that information is locked in some way. So the reason that you're saying I'm trying to talk to the ladies is, yeah, I'm just trying to say, be engaged in your financial life.
I got it now.
And if you looked at the number that I showed, they're like, in the United States alone, they're like 14 million women who own businesses. And the rest of the women who are not like the business owners and so on, probably don't actually think financially like that way. And so this was meant to just be the platform to expose and say, this is another lens that you should bring to the family table when you're looking at your family planning, family financial planning. I think you're muted. You're muted, Vinette.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what I was saying, yes, I totally agree. I got it now. So, being in the medical field for so long, I've seen it both ways, where the men are lost without the woman, when their wife passed, or the husband is lost without,
Yeah, we don't know where the kitchen is.
Yeah. So, it's good to work together as a team, right?
Right.
What you say?
Yes.
Good to work as a team, so each one won't be lost if the other one passed before. So I've seen it in so many cases. So thank you so much for that. And just one more thing, as far as the healthcare is concerned, Medicare, yes, you touch a good point when you said that they don't pay for much of the needed things, especially the nursing care or the home health care, or those care that you're going to need, that elderly people need. And so that's why most people, I've seen that most insurances, they're crossing over their Medicare, most patients, to the Medicare Advantage, like United Healthcare, Aetna, Oxford, AARP, which then those insurances, I realize that they pick up all the care that Medicare don't normally pick up, like the home care, the nurses coming into the home to take care of patients, physical therapy in home, occupational therapy, etc. So, crossing over can be a good thing, to one of the Medicare Advantage, because they also pick up the prescription costs as well. So great job. Thanks for that great information.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sister Joyce. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I think she's having an issue with her computer. Sister Joyce, computer okay now?
No, I'm not. I can't.
We can hear you, Queen Joyce.
We can hear you.
You can hear me. I can't see you or anything. Oh my
Don't
goodness.
worry. We just need your voice and your beautiful face. That's it.
You look beautiful. You
Keep
look
smiling. We
stunning.
can see your smile.
Voice is as clear as anything.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I'm glad you can hear me. So thank you, Sister Vanetta. I don't know what's going on with my computer tonight, but thank you for that wonderful question. And if anyone else has a question for Dr. John, and I cannot see the computer, I can't see anything, guys. So I can't even find Zoom on here anymore.
There are no hands raised, so you're not missing anything at all.
Okay. I did have it. So Dr. John, you were talking about, if no one else has a question, you were talking about the HAS plan, and you said if you enrolled in that and with the high deductibles, and that, can you expound on that just a little bit? With the HAS and having the high deductibles, you said that's better many times.
Yes.
Versus,
So
okay.
let me start by prefacing that this is a plan for the United States people. And so some employers would offer the high deductible plans for their employees. And those high deductible plans, if you choose to have the high deductible plan, you actually end up paying a certain amount out of pocket before the insurance company kicks in. And when they kick in, they will then pay, say, 80%, and you pay 20% after you've met what they call your out-of-pocket maximum. But the reason I said those plans are useful is I can talk about my family, and we sort of look at the numbers and say, okay, if we go to the HMO, which is the health management organization, that there is you pay a certain amount of fee for service, and they would restrict, or they can refer you to some providers. What happens in that case is that you don't actually have this health savings account where you can put in any money if you have that HMO. But if you have like one of those high deductible plans, you as a family can actually contribute up to, at least for this year, is $8,500 before tax money into that account, and use that either to pay for your out-of-pocket costs, or you pay for your deductibles or co-insurances. What a lot of people would do is that they would try and contribute those before tax dollars into that account. And if, say, you have a healthy family now, or you can afford to pay any costs that you are paying now, just pay them out of pocket and leave that money that you contributed tax-free into that health savings account to just stay there and be growing. So just imagine that you had 10 years before you need them, and you contribute $8,000 every year. That is like $80,000. That $80,000, when you get to much later in life, you can actually use that money for health, for health, healthcare costs, whether it's buying medical equipment, buying over-the-counter drugs, buying anything that is healthcare related, even including equipment, and use that money, which was contributed tax-free, is been growing tax deferred, and you use it tax-free down the line for your retirement. So if you are able to afford, and that's why I say for those of us, if on-passive starts coming through, or when on-passive comes through, and you want to go set up your own individual plan, you can literally set up that high deductible plan, which will allow you to create that health savings plan for those in the US. Now you can put the maximum that is allowed in there every year. Don't use it, because you should be able to take care of your health costs now. Later on, when you need that money, you can actually use it at that point without having to pay any taxes on the money you contributed, without having to pay any taxes on the growth of that money, as long as it's for what they call health-related costs.
Okay.
Yeah.
When,
And if I mean we can talk a bit more about that if you want. As I just think it's good if especially you are able to afford it now to pay for your costs right now, and um you 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 want to put some money away for your long-term care health for your long-term health costs and and get tax deductions on that money.
okay, thank you so much. That makes sense. So when you talk about that, I found myself in that, well, in that position, and I didn't have that HAS plan, but when I had the issue with my eyes, you know, I had a high deductible, and I had to make that deductible before insurance would kick in. So I ended up having to pay a lot of money out of pocket.
You pay, yeah. So,
Yes.
but if you and once you pay out, you would have paid up to every year when you have that plan, you have a maximum out of pocket and you have a lifetime maximum out of pocket. So each year, once you hit your out of pocket, either as an individual or a family, the insurance kicks in. So like for my household, we know that at the beginning of the year, we're paying everything. And then once we hit our out of pocket, now the insurance is paying 80%, we're paying 20%, but that allowed us to be able, if we are it will allow us, if we are able to put that up to $8,000 or $7,000 into that HSA account. If you're not able to fund it this year, you can always take some of that money from the health saving account anyway and use it for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can afford to not use it, keep it for later.
Right, exactly. And I wish I'd had that in place. I just didn't have that in place. And so I ended up going into
There was no unpassive to help you know that before.
no, unfortunately, right. So now so I'll be so glad when I'm passive, you know, once we start, yeah, I can kind of build that back up. But so what you're talking about tonight is so important. It's like it's real life things. It's like we find sometimes as women, women just in general, not women, but anyone, we find ourselves in that place where, you know, things happen and we look up, it's like, whoa, how did I get here? Or, you know, I wasn't prepared for this. And now we're scrambling and struggling, like you're saying, trying to get things in place when if we think stop now, and like you said, it's never too late to stop now and to put those things in place. And so that we know where we are, where we're going. And, you know, if something happens and everything is, who said that? Merklin said, you know, most people, women, something happens to their spouse and they don't know how to write a check, you know, they don't know where anything is. And that's unfortunate. So, you know, but it's our responsibility as women or as in general to know these things.
I mean, there are lots of things that, again, I'll use the US example, and I think, excuse me, I think other countries have the same.
Bless you.
I'm sneezing. I think other countries may have either similar or parallel things. A lot of people here in the United States, for example, they think that because they are on Medicare, Medicare will cover their long-term care. And it covers the first 100 days, and you cover 3 pints of blood. And the first 100 days, for the first 20 days, they cover 80%. And for the remaining 80 days, they cover 20%. And if you leave a hospital and you're going into a nursing home, they will only cover it if you have been in a hospital for at least 3 days and you're being referred to that nursing home for rehab from a hospital care. So there are restrictions, just like somebody did not know, or somebody was surprised that they lost a spouse and then they called the Social Security expecting that they were going to have some support towards the funeral. Yes, the Social Security in the United States will support you towards the spousal funeral to the tune of $255.
Yes.
I mean, 255. It's not 255,000, 255,000. No, enough to buy flowers. So those type of things, if people are not aware, they will see that and say, oh, the person has Social Security, and then they get the shock afterwards. And why I was just trying to bring some of these ideas is that we're in a good place. You know, there's always a silver lining to every cloud, because with the fact that some idiots messed up on passive for us also gave us a bit more time to be ready. And so what we're trying to do is use a lot of this time to at least get some of these basic things in place. So when we start, you know, when things start going, we'll all be traveling, right? And nobody will be here to be telling anybody anything. I mean, if I'm in St. Lucia, I think my phone will be roaming, and I'll tell them, yeah, I'll tell you guys.
Right. Oh, that is so true, Dr. John. We'll all be traveling and we won't have time to do these things, because we should have had them in place, because everybody be in St. Lucia and we won't be answering our phones. Not at all. Oh, but you know, when you
Insurance, make sure we have travel insurance.
travel insurance for sure, yes.
Mhm.
That will be
Yeah,
a
we talked
definite.
about that already, Madeline.
Have that in place. Yes. I know. Does anyone else have any questions for Dr. John? This is your time to ask if something that you've been thinking about, it's been on your mind. And like you said, knowledge is power. Some of these things we don't even think about. You know, sometimes we don't think about these things because we're so busy doing life. And then when something happens, then we have to backtrack and try to, you know, get things in place. So if you have questions for Dr. John, please raise your hand and open your mic and we'll get you in here. And you can ask your question. I know, Dr. John, you explain things so well and you make it so plain that most people are just, you know, listening and like soaking it in, and they don't have questions. But if there's anything else that you would like to talk about, go right ahead, and you know, the floor is yours. And, you know, maybe something that you were thinking about that you wanted to expound on a little bit more, expand on.
No, I think well, I hope that instead of that the stuff is not just too heavy for other people, and it maybe confused a few people about it. But the truth of the matter is, what we need to do is really what's our vision from being here in Unpassive. We want to be able to uplift ourselves and uplift humanity. And the biggest thing to really understand is that health and wealth, they go hand in hand. And we need to make sure that when there was a graphic that I think I shared at least 2 or 3 presentations that I said, and to paraphrase what try to create a picture of what our CEO said, that you fill your tank and then you can go out there and help others. And what we want to do with that filling our tank, we need to think about creating some level of protection for ourselves, whether it's disability, health, life, travel, those insurances that we need, so that if anything happens, if you're flying to some continent and maybe you're bitten by some crazy mosquito and the healthcare system is not the best there, you should have that luxury and freedom to be transferred, evacuated, moved to somewhere that you have that care. So those are some of the elements of filling our tanks. It's not just making sure we have a fat bank account or that we've paid our mortgages, but thinking about some of those things, getting ourselves good nutritional programs, health care programs. Hey, if you want to get yourself some sort of a trainer or somebody that's going to make you, you know, fitter and healthier, those are the elements of filling the tank. And for me, those are the things that I think that we have been trying through this platform to create that mindset for people to be able to do. And the other side of it is that, okay, I have put all these structures in place. We know that we are on a journey on this earth and we would journey out at some point in time. You need to make sure that there is an estate plan, there is some sort of a continuity or business continuity plan to continue the good work or to continue that upliftment that you have started. And we have been using this platform extensively, talking about all the estate planning techniques and some of the type of trusts and that people can create for themselves, insurances that you can have for yourself. And so when you have all of this, that is when you really have that financial freedom. Because now you don't have to be worried about, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? They're all taken care of. You are literally free, and your thoughts are no longer about, oh, let me make sure that I'm good, but let me look at my neighbor. Let me look at the child down the street. Let me look at the village that does not have running water out there and go out there and help them. And you do that, without any restrictions because you have actually covered your own basis. So I hope at least that we have been throwing them like little darts or pieces of spaghetti stick, just throwing them against the wall. The aim has been really that these are all components of making sure that we individually and collectively are really prepared to be able to go out there and uplift.
I love that, Dr. John, when you said that. Very powerful, very powerful. Freedom is more than finances, is what you said. It's like health and wealth, they go hand in hand. And if we're not healthy, we can't enjoy the wealth and we can't enjoy the freedom. So just having things in place and like you say, having that knowledge and being able to do these things right now, like you said, whatever happened, whoever tried to sabotage I'm passive, they gave us more time. And so now there's that time for us to take advantage of that and to, continue to get things in place so that we're ready, that when we fill our tanks and we can help others, and then we'll be able to get out there and enjoy life and enjoy things. We'll have that freedom, not only financially, but health-wise and the ability to uplift humanity and to do the many things that we wanted to. So this is very powerful, a great conversation, great information. And I'm, really loving it, enjoying it. I don't know if anyone else had any questions for Dr. John, any comments on.
Sister Joyce.
Yes.
Can I address Dr. John, please?
You most definitely can, my dear.
Thank you. Dr. John, a lot of what you said tonight, I have never really sat down and looked at it in that perspective. Let us look at, you talked about the woman, she births the children, take care of the babies, the children. She nurtures the family, take care of the entire family. She's there, and sometimes she has to work and take care of the family. It all depends on this family situation. Then the husband falls sick. She has to take care of the husband. She has nobody to take care of herself. She has to take care of herself and take care of the husband. Then the husband dies, leaving her maybe 6 to 10 years before she passes on. Yet she has nobody to take care of her within those 6 to 10 years. I never really saw it that way, looked at it that way. It's an eye-opener. It tells us women that we need to take better care of ourselves because we're taking care of everybody else. And when we have 6 more years to live, we're placed in a nursing home. or we don't really get proper care. We have nobody to talk to. We are home lonely and that sort of thing. I'm speaking generally for women. So it is just an eye-opener. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Yes, Julie, that is so true. You know, sometimes we don't, like you said, we don't think about those things and we just go through life. And then when he said that, it was just an eye opener, you know, just to make you really think and say, okay, I really need to make sure that, you know, I'm on top of this and doing things differently. Maybe you've been doing things one way, but now, you know, it's time to make some changes and to do things differently and to seriously look at it, you know, reevaluate our lives, reevaluate things that's going on and say, where do I need to make changes? Do I need to make changes? Is there something that I need to do? Make some adjustments here and there to make sure that we are doing our best and living our best and being involved, being a part of it. So yes, thank you so much, Julie. More questions, comment for Dr. John and what he spoke on? And you can raise your hand. I don't know if there's anything in the chat, Dr. Benny, that anyone is speaking on a question or a comment in there. No questions in there. Okay. All right. Nothing there. Okay. All right. So, Dr. John, did you have anything else that you wanted to point out and talk about? And we can.
Not really at the moment. I think again, I think this. I hope this was as Queen Julie said. I hope this just gave a lot of us another perspective or another lens to look at things as we put our plans together so that they become more holistic.
Yes, so true. Yes. And there's always, like you said, there's always different perspectives that we can look at, different ways we can look at life situations and everything, you know, that to make sure. So true. Okay, there's no one in the chat. So Sister Debbie, I'm gonna call you, and I know you have some thoughts about what Dr. John talked about. We always love to hear you. So if you could open your mic and we'd love to hear from you.
I thought I could get away with it, my co-moderator. Thank you so much. I just watched his outstanding presentation. I made notes, and it got to a point when in the area with the caregiver, when the women become the caregiver of the partner, and I'm mentally not ready for that, but so it's life, right? I recall growing up and seeing I'm just saying this from my personal experience. My mom passed when we were teenagers, and my dad almost followed because he could not bear it. And he just passed out when my sister and I came home in an ambulance with my mother's lifeless body. And when he did that, my grandmother said, "Don't you dare leave my grandchildren by themselves." She started screaming at my dad, and people were all over him. Of course, he went back in the ambulance that brought my mom home to the hospital. So growing up, seeing that, I knew that parents were supposed to outlive their children or not outlive their children, but the fathers or the male somehow depend on the women because of the helplessness I saw my dad. So I've always learned that. And Dr. John, this comes to you. So all these things that you're sharing with us, and I know you had the age groups what you had, all the chats that you had, the ones that was living by themselves, the one living with a couple, and the one that the couple had transitioned and they're by themselves. Is this something that is the trend that is happening now, or it's in the past? Because I see that towards the end, and in one of your slides, Alzheimer's seemed to be what is the taker of life, regardless of what you do. You have to be mentally ready for it. So should we be preparing and finding to shy away from it for those who want to live longer than the age group, or we should just go with the flow and deal with it when whatever happens, happens? Thank you, Dr. John.
So I guess, let me see. This is what you were saying, right?
Yes.
So
This is the slide I'm referring to.
so this is a snapshot as of the 2019, when they looked at the probability of a 65-year-old living to different ages. So if you look at it, that's 5 years ago, they were basically saying if somebody was 65, then there is a 75% chance that the male will get to 80, or that 75% of them could get to 80. There's a 50% chance that the person will get to 86, and there's a 25% chance, or 1 in 4 of them could live to 92. I would say, if I were to look at what has happened since then, that this graph has not changed, because when COVID came, the graph shifted to the left. And since COVID, it's shifted almost back to where it is. So if somebody were say 65 today, then what the graph is saying here is that there is a 50% chance that you could live to 86. And that's why you see the life expectancy for a man in the US now is around that 85, 86. And for a woman, it's about 87, 88, which is where they're making those statistics. But then they're saying that in addition to that, 1 in 4 people who get to the age of 65 will actually make it to 92. Now, for men, and 94 for women. And when you're looking at a couple that are together, one of them will make it to 96. Along the way, between the age of 65 and that 92, they would be affected by different ailments. That's when the long-term care would kick in, typically after 80. And what they're saying is that once you hit that 80, before we get there, we start getting a few, aching bones, and now you can no longer just go jog and run. You start walking, but then by the time you get to 80, 84, 85, a significant proportion of those people now start needing help with what they call the activities of daily living, which is some of them can no longer control the bowels, some of them are no longer continent, some of them need help getting in and out of bed, they need help with feeding, or need help with bathing and dressing. So those continuum of care will be starting from that age of maybe 80 and above. But amongst those ones, if you think about it, the progression of care that people will need may just be that somebody may not be able to go shopping, they may not be able to go up and down the stairs, they can do some other things, and they need just home health care. That care can be provided at home. Somewhere down the road, those people may need somebody that will be taking care of them in the night, and that might be as a daughter. That is when I talked about the women being those caregivers. And those daughters now are also working. So in the daytime, they need somebody to take care of that individual. And you have some of these respite facilities, so daycare facilities that person could go stay there and come back home in the evening. And then when they start getting to the 86, 85 age group, some of them may start actually needing 24-hour round the clock. And that type of care now may actually need to be in a residential facility. And that progression could actually start by that individual having just those two activities of daily living that qualify them to be classified as needing long-term care. Or we know that these cognitive diseases like Alzheimer's and so on, they are increasing. So when you start getting the people that are getting towards the 88s, 90s, and so on, most of them, in addition to the physical ailments, they also start having cognitive issues. So yes, it's not that we just sit and hope and wait. What we're saying is, our hope is that if we have taken care of ourselves and if we start taking care of ourselves now, we can delay the onset of some of this. And maybe, before it catches you up with me, I might be 2 months to my departure date and it doesn't really matter. Somebody, it may be 4 years before they actually pass away. So it's a continuum. And what we're saying is plan for it. And they used to be in the United States here, there used to be long-term care plans that people would buy. And if they needed the long-term care, the insurance company paid. If they just slept peacefully in their beds and they passed away, the insurance company said, well, you took a chance, you didn't use it, so you lost it. But there are newer plans now that would actually allow somebody to get that insurance. Obviously, there are underwriting requirements to make sure that you qualify. But then if that person qualifies and they get that insurance, if that person contributes and never uses that money, never needs the care and passes away, there would actually be a death benefit that will be paid out to their dependents. So that money was not really lost. So, I mean, again, looking at it within the US, what we're saying is, let's hope that we will not need it, but we plan as if we will need it, if that helped.
Significantly. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Back to you, Sister Joyce. I know you cannot see your screen, but there's a hand up from our brother Mamadou. Unless you're able to see the screen now, Sister Joyce.
Thank you, Sister Debbie. I pushed a button and my screen is back, so I don't know what I did.
Awesome.
What I did wrong or what I did right before. So, but thank you so much. That was a very good question. Thank you, Dr. John, for your answer. Brother Mamadou, I almost call you Dr. Mamadou. All right, I'm speaking it into existence. The mic is yours, Mamadou. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Queen Joyce and Sister Debbie. Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my beloved family. First of all, I want to thank Queen Julie for her mindset she gave us tonight. I don't even know how to express my thanks and appreciation towards her. And for our big brother, Uncle John. Yes, today you try to prepare our queens. And I hope we the kings should learn. Because whatever you said tonight about our queens, it also apply to us. And thank you very much for your kindness and generosity. First of all, I just want to ask a question just for us to laugh. You know, as unperseverant, apart from this life insurance and our means of protecting our wealth, do we need to get this type of security rather than just make sure we purchase enough traffic for our product so that passive will continue to generate income for us till we die and our generation to continue rather than purchasing, rather than buying insurance for our age or health, just for us to laugh anyway. Do you get my question, Uncle John?
Yes. I don't know. I was going to ask you, what do you think? But I'm gonna start by answering.
No, I'm talking about as unperseverant.
Yes,
Instead
I
of pouring more.
So what I
buying
would
more
say,
traffic. Yes.
so what I will ask you, Mamadou, is if again, if some of these things come down to choices, because somebody could choose now that, okay, because I've bought a lot of traffic, if I'm sick somewhere, I can turn around and hire a plane to carry me from A to B. That is actually one of the arguments that when we talk to a lot of the wealthy people about on this topic of long-term care, they say, I think I'm rich enough to be able to self-insure. But the same people, when you then present to them the mathematics, they would actually turn around and see that, oh, what you're providing me is leverage. Because in 90% of the situations, what you get back is 3x what you put in. So based on that, you can make a very simple decision for yourself. And so a lot of people that we will talk about say, oh, you know what, I'm going to self-insure because I am rich. And then you say, okay, would you just happily give me $100,000? What for? What have you done to deserve it? I said, well, what if you put 30,000 and that 30,000 could guarantee you 100,000? Would you be interested? And then that person will make that decision based on just the math of it. And again, some of this, in addition to just the leverage, they also come in with tax advantages that, depending on where you are, some of these may be very efficient vehicles for you to use as well when you start peeling and looking at what it is you're trying to get. Yeah, so yes, there are advantages to it's not necessarily an either or, it's one of those, and you want to do this and do this as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
in other words, all of them are very important.
They're foundational.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mamadou. That was that was a good one. Thank you so much. Excuse me. We appreciate you. We appreciate you keeping us on our toes. You said it for a laugh, but Dr. John, thank you for that great answer. So we see Jeffrey in the house on tonight. Excited to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, thank you. So we're gonna ask Dr. John just to I don't know if you have some remarks that you'd like to close with, and then we'll have Jeffrey speak after that. We just enjoyed you so much tonight and your information. And I don't know if someone else has a question. I don't know. No question. Oh, so I thought someone saw a hand somewhere before we called Dr. John to this was a great topic on tonight, just talking about retirement planning for women and not only women, but also, um, everyone to make sure that you have everything in place and that you're knowledgeable about what's going on. Dr. Benny, yes, go right ahead.
Yes, please. I think I have a question for when it comes to this insurance thing.
Okay.
But before I do that, I want to thank you, Dr. Jen. Thank you for this amazing presentation. I want to thank God for bringing you to all of us. When it comes to this, should married couples like purchase this life insurance policies separately? Or, I mean, do you think it is a good idea for married couples to purchase life insurance together or separately?
In most cases, they do them separately, but there may be cases for doing them where you have what they call joint ownership. Some of them do the joint, and it really boils down to what your plans are. If you're looking at them from the point of view of wealth, transfer, estate, preservation and transfers then you want to do them separately. If you have a couple that is looking at providing along the topic we've been talking about today, say I want to have some sort of coverage in case that I pass away, I want to provide some support for my spouse, and we're just looking after each other. There are some of those joint policies that you can consider. But in most cases, you want to really sit down and look at what that family's requirements are. And depending on what they want, you would come with one of those solutions to satisfy. It's not like one of those things that you just come and say, pick this for everybody. No, it has to be based on what your specific needs are. But in most cases, they tend to be single. But as I said, there are companies that actually do joint ones. And the joint ones are primarily when you're looking at just providing for care for the other person.
Thank you so much, Dr. John. I know that someone made a statement about husband and wife, like when you love one another, right? At a certain age, let me say if the husband dies today, maybe let me say at midnight, then in the next 2 minutes, the wife dies. I think if they do that, and then it means that they really love one another and they don't want, I mean, that's the way I look
To
at it.
suffer. Okay. So London. So what?
I mean, if there is no love, then the woman will say, let the man just, sorry, die.
Oh,
It's
Dr.
okay.
Benny.
Leave me alone. I'm sorry.
No, but as the question you asked, as I said, most of if you look at it, especially with the situations where this is a slight diversion, but I've had situations where people like in the United States here, when you get like a husband has been working and the wife has not been working as much, or maybe not have as much assets, the husband they have like the 401k, they could put it into like an annuity where the wife is a co-annuitant, which means if something happens to the husband, the wife automatically just continues the policy as if nothing changed. So it eliminates some of the the logistical probate nonsense type things of, okay, let me get this access to this because the two of them, one is like a co-owner and it just continues. You can also have like a joint life insurance where there's the first to die, the other one may continue it, and then a death benefit is paid out when the second one dies. Those type of things happen. But if you're sitting and looking at it from, as I said, especially estate transfer, wealth transfer, you may want to design them separately. And there are also cost elements involved because their budgets may also dictate you to want to do one way or the other depending on what they want to do. And it's really based on their needs.
Thank you, Dr. John. When it comes to buying this insurance, is it better to buy a life insurance when you're younger? Or I noticed let's give an example that some of our parents, they leave Cameroon and they come here, they're like, some of them are like 70 years old and they are sick. Do you think that if you are the one selling that life insurance, will you sell it? Let's say if it is my mother and she is somehow sick, are you going to sell it very expensive to me?
So one thing I know this, we were not really talking about life insurance for this particular topic, but let me just tell you there that there is life insurance and there's life insurance, and it depends what type of life insurance you're looking for. First of all, when you take a life insurance policy, think about it. The companies are out there, they're also there to make business. And so if you come in with somebody who is already sick, like, I mean, for a start, anybody that has a cancer, you can almost think that no insurance company is going to give you any insurance for a start, because the company wants you to have that policy for a long time so that they can actually generate some money. And they're working on the whole idea of large numbers. So they don't want to go and only get only sick people. So they go through the underwriting and they say, what is the possibility that Benny is going to live to 100? If they see that you're going to live to 100, you're a good candidate. If they see that John has like 12 days to go, John is not going to have nothing. They're not going to, I'm not a good risk for them. So you get most of the younger people that are there. The first thing you need to know, as I say, so diversion, is that the cost of insurance increases with age. I don't care which type of insurance you're having, whether it's a term, whole life, index, universal life, anything, the cost, which means if I'm buying a life insurance for $100, the cost of a $100 life insurance for a 20-year-old is less than the cost of a $100 for an 80-year-old. That's stated because that 80-year-old is closer to death. So that cost per unit increases with age. Now, what is it that you're trying to get that policy to do for that person? If I look at it like the mothers that I have been helping people to get policies for their mothers, I have been trying for them to get final expenses insurance. $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 tops, so that if that person passes away, we don't have to do a GoFundMe, or we don't have to wait for people to come and put a plate at the door for contributions. Now, those type of people, they need to have met certain criteria, and some of them you may even...
Hello, everybody, and a great, wonderful, on-topic day to you. I hope you're having a good time.
Yes, Jeffrey. Some of them may actually have like diabetes, hypertension, and so on, and still be able to qualify for some of those policies. And then they'll underwrite it and you pay a certain amount. Some of them, you may actually do them without any, again, I'm talking about the US, you may be able to do them without any medical underwriting, but the insurance company will say, okay, we've given this policy to this person. We're not very sure about them. If this person is alive in the next 2 years and something happens to them after 2 years, we're going to pay the 10,000 or 20,000 that you gave. If they happen to pass away before 2 years, we're just going to refund your premiums that you had paid. So there are all those type of things for that age demographic. If you're coming to somebody who is in their 30s and 40s, you may be looking for long-term care. It will be cheaper for you at that point because you're healthy and they underwrite you are the best health condition. And after 2, 3 years, they don't go back and check and say, oh, something has happened to you. So it's not like when you hear some radio advert that a 40-year-old non-smoker can get 100,000 for $50 a month. Those are typically like those policies that you get a term policy for 10 years. If you're depending on what you want, just like Momodu asked the question, insurance is really personalized. They need to know what your needs for it are, and then it's designed for that purpose. And if that person doesn't start by finding out why you want it, then they're not doing a good service for you.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you next week.
Anytime. You can talk to me before then.
Queen Joyce, I'm done.
All right, Dr. Benny, the floor was yours. So whatever questions you needed to ask, those were good questions. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And like I said, it's just been a great topic on tonight, and we're just going to keep going. We want to call on a few more people to speak. Jeffrey, we know you just joined. I don't know how much you got, but we were talking about planning for retirement for women and the importance of knowing what to do and being aware of where if you're married and a lot of women sometimes don't know anything about finances or anything about what's going on, in the household. And if something happens to their spouse, then they're lost. And so we were just really talking, Dr. John brought some great points about the importance of, just being on top of things, being aware, knowing where finances are, and some of the hurdles that women face as well too. But we'd love to have you speak on tonight. If you can open up your mic, and thank you for being here. I know you're always catching and joining and supporting, so we'd love to hear from you.
Well, I certainly thank you for that, Joyce. I really do. And it is wonderful to see you guys. And Dr. John, it's always good to hear you. My ears perk up when you're talking because you give me ideas like last week about what you talked about. So I came out with a video. But I certainly appreciate. I tried twice to get on earlier and I got waylaid and people needed stuff. And it's like, And then I just finally cut everything else off and came on. I thought, okay, maybe we can get a little bit of time in here. But I appreciate being here, and I appreciate being able to even speak to this. As a matter of fact, it's kind of appropriate because my wife and I just last month went through this whole process because I had been, and this is part of my advice to anybody, not just women in particular, but to anybody. When you've got insurance, make sure that you've got insurance, because I kept seeing in my checking account this amount going out every month, right? And I'm thinking, okay, we're good to go. But when I called them, they're like, that's part of the other policy. I said, wait a minute, I got two payments for one policy. They said, yeah. I said, well, what happened? I said, I was insured and my wife was insured. Where's the policy for my wife? Well, that lapsed about 6 months ago. I said, what do you mean it lapsed? What? Don't I have to cancel it? Well, yeah, we just saw that it was. I said, I never canceled it. Who canceled? Well, we don't know. It just like, oh. So I had to go through the whole thing and get the blood work and all of that so that I could get myself insured in case I were to bite the bullet or kick the bucket or whatever you want to say, then my wife is well off. So absolutely. Keep an eye on your policies, know where they are and what they're for, like John was saying. But in truth, John, I'm sure, I mean, I only caught the tail end of what you're saying, but it sounded to me like you were spot on. And any advice I would get or give, I'd give to anybody. Start early, take control, educate yourself, maximize any matching you can do from employers or stuff like that, diversify, just common sense stuff. But No, that's not my bailiwick, but I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you, Jeffrey,
Jeffrey,
so much.
thanks for that really point. I mean, it's amazing how many people get uh to that unfortunate situation where the policies are lapsed. And one of the things I tell people, or two things I tell people, I don't care whether it's your mother, your brother, your father, whoever, if you have a policy and they tell you that that policy is not good, they're going to try and get another one for you, cancel the old one. Don't ever, ever, ever cancel one until you have another one issued. In most cases, when somebody is writing a policy for you, the new company normally asks if that policy is going to cancel or terminate another policy. And you put yes in that. And they need to go through the suitability to make sure that you're not just going there and trying to defraud somebody. And it becomes very critical because once, let's say that I got a policy, whether not super good 20 years ago when I was much younger, much healthier, and now my health condition is such that I may not be able to qualify for that policy anymore or at that rating. And then I go out there, somebody talks to me, and I say, "Oh, what you're talking about sounds so great. I'm going to cancel my previous one." I go ahead and cancel it. And then we apply for the other one and they turn me down. Now you are left uncovered. So never, ever, ever, ever get somebody to cancel one without let them basically put that cancellation as part of the new one that you're writing. So the insurance companies will talk to each other and make sure that you are getting something better. Same goes for people have like monies in retirement accounts, 401ks or whatever. And then somebody come and say, let me roll it over to some other portfolio. Don't just cross it out here and roll it over there because you might be incurring some charges here and then your money is locked in on the other side. Always transfer the monies across so that the suitability is taken care of. This is even more important for people who are above the ages of 60 and even critically important when they're above 65 years old because unfortunately there are people out there who are out to just make a commission and they don't really care. And those people give the industry a bad name. The second thing I want to just talk, which Jeffrey's talked about, is if you have a policy with anybody and it has gone 2 years and that company or that agent has not reached out to you to just say, we want to do a review, that should be a red flag because they would make a review and the review could just be that everything is great. Or the review could just tell you that, guess what? The way I thought your policy was going to perform, you're exceeding that, congratulations. Or it could be that, you know what, the conditions that we had assumed they're not actually keeping up. These are the changes you need to make on that policy so that it doesn't lapse. You don't want to just come and find out 3 or 4 months that your policy has lapsed because in most cases, when you go to reinstate it, they go through another underwriting. And if your health situation has taken a turn for the worse, you may never be able to have some of those policies. So I just thought that since Jeffrey has brought those two things and we drifted a bit to insurance, that is some other information that is worth you guys being aware of. Thanks, Jeffrey, for bringing that up.
Hey, can I ask you a question? You just, John, you said something that kind of perked my ear a bit. When you said that there was a policy that was exceeding expectation, what is that? What's that all about?
So I have, when you look at life insurance policies, you have the term policies that don't have any cash values. You have the whole life policies that basically they guarantee how it's going to perform and it's the way that it performs. And then you have policies like the universal life policies, which are either the index or the variable. When somebody runs those ones, they, in most cases, they taking an assumption of the performance based on the performance of like a market or something like that. And there are times that when you go to run those illustrations for customers, the states usually limit the percentage performance that you can illustrate because otherwise the insurance companies are going to illustrate that this is going to be giving you 20% every year. So because they limit it based on how that insurance company has been performing in that state for the last 10, 20 years, when you give that illustration, the client has a set of numbers and say, okay, if I keep paying this amount, then in 10 years time, maybe I can have $10,000 of cash. But it may turn out that that policy is actually performing, those indexes are performing better. And in that case, that person could actually have a better cash value. And in that, or there's some instances that somebody may have started a policy and because of their cash flow, they're only putting in a certain amount of money in it. Just for the permanent policies, especially whole life, universal life, when you pay a certain amount of money, some of that money goes to buy the insurance and some of it goes as cash. So if somebody actually funds that policy more aggressively, the cash can actually grow much, much faster. And so I actually had somebody that I designed a policy for them. They just took it because they trusted me. They didn't really know what the heck they were doing. And at the same time, they were just thinking, okay, let me just do it and see. And then because it was designed for maximum cash growth, it was like until year 8 that the guy actually started seeing how much interest they were getting from their insurance compared to the amount of money that they had in their savings account. Then they started transferring money from their saving account and putting it in there. So yes, they saw that it was performing better. So, and that's why I said the regular review is critical because if you don't review it, you're just basing it on an assumption that we made 5 years ago, which may or may not still hold.
Okay, so that totally answers the question. And what you're saying, what you're referring to applies only to like universal or whole life or a policy that has a cash building mechanism. So for term life, which has no cash at all, it wouldn't apply to me anyway.
No, that one will not apply to the
got it.
term life. The only thing to also realize that there are some companies out there now, Jeffries, in the United States that are providing term policies with living benefits. That's a fairly new phenomenon. Most term policies used to only pay when there's no longer any pulse, and because the person is expired. But there are a few companies that are beginning to put term policies where if you get like stroke, you get like cancer, you get like renal failure or HIV/AIDS, and they will do a partial underwriting and say, okay, this person's quality of life has been severely deteriorated. So they would accelerate some of that death benefit and actually give you just the same way. At least I don't know, I haven't checked for Canada, but I know that in the United States, even your term policy, if the person gets into a terminal illness condition, that is, you're certified to have less than 12 months to live, technically you can actually request for up to 90% of that life insurance. And they can give you that money and maybe you use that towards your hospice care or you take your family to a cruise to celebrate your last few days, whatever you do. And then when the person passes away, the remaining 10% is paid.
You both are muted.
Yeah, I said,
Okay.
I said thank you to him.
Yeah, that's all I said too. So
Okay. Great information, you guys, about those insurance policies. Dr. John, I need to talk to you as well after all this and about some, have some questions, but they're personal, so I won't even bring them here.
Right.
So yes, thank you. So thank you, Jeffrey, for bringing that up. So that just sparked something in me just to ask and to make sure that, yeah, get those questions answered. So, I thought I saw a hand earlier, but I could have been mistaken. If not, we would love to hear from Gemma on tonight. If you would love to raise your hand, we would love to hear from you. If you would open your mic and.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Debbie. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Julie. Hi, John. Hi, everyone else. I cannot testify to that, John. I left the Bank of Montreal in 2004 and I tried to buy some more insurance. And then I found out that I had what they call a fatty liver. And of course, when I did all the tests and everything, they refused to give it to me and they didn't tell me why. They said to check with my doctor. So my doctor said, well, it happened to him too, and he couldn't do his own. So he wanted to test me every 6 months to see if it had changed. And it wouldn't. It would just stay the same. It was the GGT in my liver. It was too high, the enzymes, right? So he checked it for 6 months for 6 years, and it never changed. So he said to me, you know what? I decided that Asian people, you're from Asian descent, they have that problem. So I don't think anything is wrong with you. It's just part of your makeup, right? And of course, I didn't get any insurance, or I don't mind insurance after that. It was very, very difficult to get any insurance. But going back to talking about death benefits or preparing for your death and stuff like that. Paul and I had insurance, and I think I mentioned it last time, and it was for $1 million. And when he turned 65, they wanted to rewrite it, and we were paying $234 a month, and it ended up being $835 a month. Of course, we didn't pay. We didn't have the money at the time. That was a couple of years ago. Wow. And of course, we let it go by. Now I'm seeing everywhere on the TV, you could sell your insurance policy to someone. They never offered to give us anything. All the guys said, okay, well, you can't afford to do it, and that's it. And that was it, right? So he had no life insurance. Then he went and he got some again. And with mine from the Bank of Montreal, I pay 80% and he was paying 20%. When he turned 65, they canceled it. Why do they cancel insurance when you turn 65 or 70, the insurance companies? I could never understand that. When you need it most of all, that's when they cancel it. They say they can no longer insure you. That's the time you need it. Never made sense to me at all that they did that all the time to people, right? And then one more thing, we were going back to India in 2022 and we decided, my daughter said to us, if anything happened to you guys and you have no insurance or whatever, I'm going to pull up a dump truck in front of the house, empty everything in the truck and throw it away. I'm not even going to go through a thing, clean the house out, make sure everything is gone, right? And we decided, you know what? So we called someone and then we bought death insurance. So if we're traveling and we die anywhere in the world, they either fly us back home to be buried if we wanted to, or send our ashes home. Or if we need to go to the hospital and we can't do it wherever we are, they'll fly us home. And everything is covered. So we pay for it upfront, not a monthly payment, too much hassle. So now we all set. We don't have a problem with that. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys.
Wow, Gemma, thank you. Again, this is devout, and the couple of things there. The first thing is that anybody that is working with any corporation and that corporation is insuring them, think about it. I mean, I used to work with, and this is a true story. This was my life story in a way, because when I was working with one of the last companies I worked with in corporate America, I had $1 million of life insurance, and that was a lot. That was the maximum that they could possibly give, because you had to say X times your salary, and they did they did all the underwriting, they did the medicals. And then I was happily paying, and I didn't realize, at that point I didn't know. But the day that I left the company and I was looking at my separations package, the insurance obviously was not listed as one of the benefits. So I called back the insurance, the benefits department, and said, hey, what's going on? You guys forgotten something. True to it, the lady did not even know that that was a benefit that I only got when I was working with the company. So she told me to wait, went and checked with somebody, and then came and said, oh, John, yeah, that is not a mistake. We only insured you because you were working with us. You no longer work with us. So go now and figure out your life somewhere with whoever you're working. So I had to start looking for something private. One of the things that a lot of the corporations would do to people is that they would insure you while you're working with you, and then you hit that magical 65 where they say you have to retire. It's no longer their responsibility, and they will no longer take you. The other thing is that you also would get some people that will get, I mean, like Jeffries, he say he has a term policy. There are some companies that will tell you that they are selling you a term policy through 90. On the cover, it says term through 90. And when you open it, you see that they give you a premium. Let's say the premium is $100 and you are paying $100. But if you open inside and look at it in detail, the $100 typically covers the first 30 years. And after that 30 year, it becomes what they call an annual renewable term. And they start calculating your cost based on the year. The first 30 years, what they did was they looked at the cost of year 30, look at the cost of year 1, and they gave you an average. And you were happily paying that one number and you thought, oh, this is great. When you get to year 31, they would actually look at the cost of year 31, which is much higher. So a lot of people, they take it as a shock at that point. You are paying $100 now at the end of that period of time, even though they told you that there's a term that will last you through 90. The reality is that that initial cost covered only 30-year period, and then it was an increasing after that. And many of us never opened the booklet to read, and some of the agents probably don't even understand enough to explain it. So you come to that period of time, something that you were paying $100, all of a sudden they send you an invoice for $900. You're never planning for that, and in most cases, a lot of people say, I can't afford, they let go. In the United States, when it comes to federal employees, they have the insurance program there. What I understand for those federal employees is that when you get to that retirement, there are like 3 options. Option number 1 is you can actually pay a certain amount to keep that high. Let's say somebody had $100,000 of death benefit, you can start paying to keep that $100,000, or you can pay a reduced amount to keep, say, $50,000, or you pay nothing and the amount of life insurance gradually reduces by 2% until it gets to about $25,000. So you can sit down there, you retire happily at 65 thinking I have $100,000 of life insurance. And then by the time you get to 70 years, maybe something happens to you and your beneficiaries are showing up. They tell them that it was only 25 and they're like, where did the 75 go to? Again,
I agree with you, Dr. John, because I'm going through that.
Okay. So some of the people, some of the benefits people do not actually understand it enough to explain it to individuals. And so when you get to retire and they even give you the big package, how many of us really take time to read it and how many of us understand it? So those are some of the things there that having some of these discussions just point people to different areas. And talking about US government workers especially, a lot of them retire with the what's that, they have the federal employee pension plan. And a lot of them do not know that they can roll that money out as a lump sum and put it as an independent retirement account. Because if you retire under the FIES, I think that's what they call system, they may say, okay, we're paying you $1,000 a month. And that $1,000 a month, if you didn't have a discussion, the default, you would have just signed for the default, which says $1,000 a month, straight life, which basically means if you're taking $1,000 a month and you live to age 150, they'll keep paying that $1,000 a month. But if you, on the other hand, start taking that $1,000 a month and you die month 2, the payment stops. So people, again, it's not that the government is out there to cheat you. It's just that that information is not shared and people do not understand. And so the few that get caught, they're like, oh my God, the system is wicked. No, the system is there. We just don't understand it.
No, they should not charge you. When they give you a pension, they charge you tax on it every month or at the year season, whenever you pay taxes. That's after tax dollars. They should not be taxing on that money. That's highway robbery.
No. No.
What do you
If
mean,
you
no? I think it's highway robbery.
listen, that is again another myth there because I mean, again, I'm talking about the US. In the US, as you know, if you've been hearing, the government, the Social Security in this country would run out of money. The trust fund will run out of money. And in the US, specifically when in the 1935, they set up the system, the government never really created a pot of money that was put in there and said, this is Social Security that is going to be growing. What they did was everybody who was working was contributing and the money was being given to those who were retired. At that point, there were about 4 people working for every retiree. And then we went through the baby boomers generation that are retiring big time now. And the number of people working are like 2.1 people to 1 retiree. So the government now does not have enough people putting in money to get out. And so sometimes you get, depending on which government comes into power, each one keeps saying they want to save Social Security. And what the governments did, the first one was during the Ronald Reagan era in the US, they decided that if you make more than $25,000 a year in your retirement, then 50% of your Social Security was taxable. And your pension was considered as an income, so it's taxable. And then during the Clinton administration, when they were trying to balance their budget and they want to extend the life of Social Security, they say if you make more than 33,000, 85% of your Social Security is taxable. So that's the math they're trying to extend Social Security, unfortunately. So
Not fair, it's not fair. But another thing too, there's so many millions of people dying every day or every year in the States and Canada. They don't say, okay, Gemma died. Let's take her money she gets every month for pension and divide it among people, put their money in a pot and say, all the dead people now who's not collecting money, let's put it in this pot so they could use it later and do something. They don't even do that. What do they do with that money? You make less money. I always think about it. What do they do with that money?
Not there. So that's why some of the things we're saying is that, you know, I started this presentation by saying we're in a good place. Once we get onto passive, there are different vehicles that we will have to consider that will make us happily let them tax whatever they may not even be.
Then yes, I agree. Then yes.
But the thing is, how do we make sure that whatever we get out of passive, we are good stewards of it, so that we can use it for the good that we want to use it, and when we're gone, whatever is left, they can use it for somebody else rather than for it to disappear, as you're saying, disappears into the
exactly
system.
It disappears. Disappears. Yeah. Anyhow, great webinar. Good, Julie. Thank you, John. Deb, everyone else disappeared off the camera.
Thank you, Gemma, so much for your questions.
Problem. Hi, Mamadou.
Hey, Queen Gemma.
I told him he could call me Queen Gemma anytime.
I know. You're my queen.
Yes, thank you,
Gemma.
so
The
much.
world is corrupt.
You're welcome, Joyce. Anytime.
Yes. Thank you for your contributions and your questions. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Pat, are you available?
All right. So
welcome.
Thank you. Good
wow, to see you.
Those are your questions. I'm going to try and go back to the topic, but still we've gone to insurance. But those are your questions are really, and some of us don't know, like for example, the 401k is not after tax dollar, right? It's before tax dollar. I think we had that conversation a year before. And the reason that people that we take is that when we getting the money, when it's time for us to take that retirement money, they'll tax us at the rate at the time you're withdrawing it. They're not taxing you at the rate at the time that it was taken from you, or you paid it anyway. Yeah, thank you, Queen Julie, Pierre, for a wonderful mindset. And thank you, Dr. John, for the presentation today. And for everybody that contributed, Queen Gemma, Brother Jeffrey, with all the insightful questions, Mamadou, thank you guys. And for our queens, thank you for great moderating. Yeah, and some of these topics, and they say that there's a saying that what a prophet is not, what's that saying? It's not welcome in his own community. You would think that Dr. Pat is like right? Even though I've seen a lot of these cases, that unfortunately, based on statistics and history, I don't know why, we tend to have more widower than widow, right? So we tend to have the women left behind. I don't know why. And truth to be told, most of us, we get lost. Like we don't know what to do at all. We don't even know where anything is. So this is a great topic to get you prepared. And I've seen a lot of cases from even just opening the laptop to get information. We don't have the password to the laptop, to the company, how to reach the company for the 401k if there's any, or even how to claim the Social Security. And even if it's they have Social Security for the kids that are underage and deserve, we really don't know where to go because we're either not interested, not bothered, because most of us believe that we'll be there forever with each other, right? So it's a brilliant topic. Dr. Benny, yes, thanks for all your questions, right? Asking about insurance, jointly, singly, however, I'm supposed to be an insurance agent, right? I actually have a license, but don't ask me any question. Yeah, so there's your financial need and what you want to do really drive how you want to take this insurance. And this insurance now with living benefit, critical care benefit, insurance have evolved a lot. I remember when I was younger, they say knowledge is power. And I was in corporate as well, right? We're getting group insurance. When it's a group, it just makes sense. A group insurance will be cheaper. And all of us had this $1 million insurance. The max that I could get, we took it and think nothing else. No, I didn't want to hear anything else about insurance. Until when my company for my own case sold our division. And they called me, they said, oh, and patients, your group insurance, you can either take the cash value that is in it, or you take it over. They actually were gracious enough to give us the opportunity to take it over. And I say, oh, hell no, who is paying that money? I'm not taking anything over. So I take my little cash that was inside. Bad idea. If I had the knowledge, because remember at that point, we've taken it over, what happened? I don't have to go through any medicals. I don't have to do any underwriting. I just have to pay. But taking it over now to be like an individual insurance was costing, in my head, big money. But taking a step back now and looking at it, that was the wrong decision. But that's life we learn, right? And because I'm saying this because Queen Benny was asking whether it is, when is it beneficial to take an insurance when you're younger? Of course, we know that it's cheaper when you're young because they believe that you are healthy. That's the statistics. Young people are typically healthy, right? As you're getting old, start getting all these comorbidities. So that's why as you're getting older, your insurance cost is higher. So if for us, what we've done, we've taken little insurance policy for our children. But before I got to that mindset to even pull an insurance for my kids, when they say insurance, your kid is like, oh, do you want are you wishing for your children to die? Because that was my background, that was my culture. Just insurance means wishing somebody's dead. But as I empower myself with knowledge, we start realizing that no, it's also a tool to generate wealth. So we decided to do all these index universals for all our kids. But for all my ladies friends here, including me, okay, seriously, let me not pretend like if something happened to my husband, I don't even know how to pay the mortgage. Forget it, I would not know. I don't even know what my mortgage company is, including me. This is a lesson that we should all really take seriously. There's nothing wrong for you to know what is going on. It doesn't mean that two pilots are in the ship. No, that's not what it means. It means that we are empowering each other, including me. So there's some things that I have to do. I just believe that when he wants to bring it up, I say, don't tell me about those things. I'm not interested, right? But I've seen cases that I have to be the one to try to call a company to find out where is 401k, how are we going to get it? Because I have a sister that lost the husband. But I'm saying I don't even know how I'm going to get it if it happens to me. So are we sitting in denial? Are we hoping that it will not happen to us? We don't wish that, but let's just empower ourselves. And Queen Gemma, you're right. That's a lot of people lost money when they're gone because the family don't know where to get the money. And why would they not just put in the pot and divide it? I don't know why the government will not do that. But let's not leave money there that our family could have and use it to generate wealth for our family. So I want to continue to thank all of you on this platform. It's a platform that will come and learn. Trust me, every day I say, hey, I have to start doing that. But I go back to my comfort zone that, there's time, living in denial. But I really have to know even how to open the laptop. It was as my nephew died and the house that he had was foreclosed because we did not know where to get any information. We could not open his laptop. We could not open his tablet, his phone, nothing. But the fun is that this guy was dying and we knew he was dying because he was dying of cancer. But nobody was bold enough to have that conversation. And that is based on our culture. For us, it's a cultural background. You feel like if you're asking him, you're saying that he's not going to make it. So you stay back. And after that, everything worked for, gone. And the 5-year-old boy that was left had nothing. So let's have this conversation. It's not because we are wishing anybody anything. It's just empower ourselves and trust everything else to God's hand. Thank you all for enjoying for letting me speak. I wasn't going to, but because I don't know, I am just guilty. Sorry. I don't even know when I know how to go to the bank. Sorry. But let's all get ourselves empowered. Let's not be foolish. I'm one of them. Thank you, ladies.
John, what are you doing? John, what are you doing?
Thank you, Dr. Pat, for being honest. And, like you say, it's like sometimes we just don't want to hear about those things, and just being honest and saying, I don't know, and I need to make sure that I do know. So, and we get caught in those situations because sometimes we, as women, just in general, you just don't want to be involved. And like, oh, just do it. And
enjoy not only that too. I don't know, maybe it's cultural as well. Sometimes we don't even talk to our adult kids about what is going on. And what, God forbid, what happened that 2 of you go, what happened to them? We don't even tell them nothing. So let's really start making sure that we don't have our wealth, our family wealth, our generational wealth lost somewhere because we do not have this conversation and we do not set things properly that they could. If you work hard for them, the Bible says we should even leave something for our children. If you work hard and you, God forbid, you close your eyes and this thing all disappear, where are we working for? It's a lesson that I'm learning through this. Maybe I just assume that I have the resource next to me, but let's do our part and leave the rest to God. Thank you.
You know what we know what we did? We got all our insurance policies together, all the insurance we've got, put them in a binder, put them in the cabinet downstairs in the office, and all the passwords for all the accounts that we've got, whether what it is, the passwords and everything is in a book. So both kids know exactly where they are, where they're kept. And if anything happened to us, they know what to look for. The only thing they promise us to do, they'll pull a truck up in front of the house and get rid of all the junk. Mike, you remember all the junk you saw in my house when you got here? The kids threatened to throw it away. Mike, are you listening? Are you listening, Mike? You're not listening? Why? They promised to throw all the junk away, get a truck. And then they said, if you guys don't sort it out, too bad, sort it out.
That's a good idea, Gemma.
You accumulate so many things. I know we've been in this house for 20 years now. You accumulate so much junk, you would not believe it, Yeah. But that's what you guys should do. Get everything in a folder, tell the kids where it is, and if it is in a lockbox in the bank or whatever. So, you know, they have all the passwords and they have everything, and they don't have to go look for nothing or go through anything in the house.
Oh, the mattress.
Yeah, that's what we did.
That is true, Gemma. That's so good. Put it in everything in one place so everybody knows where it is. All the
Exactly.
passwords, everything there, and it's, you know, it's there. It's accessible. And I like what you said, Dr. Pat, too. It's like sometimes it's culture, and sometimes we don't teach our kids just culture, and we just think, you know, that's culture, and we don't do it. So, but like you say, when you know better, you do better, and then you learn, and we get educated. That's what this is here for. We get educated. It makes us think from a different perspective, and loving it. Yes. Great conversations, you guys. Thank you so much, Dr. Pat, again, and Gemma for that as well.
You're welcome.
Yes. Engineer Mike.
Hello.
Haven't heard you in a
How
minute,
y'all
so we're just so
doing?
excited to have you here, and
Good.
we would love to hear from you on tonight. You are such a great asset to us, and we know you're always behind the scenes and you're always there. So thank you so much. Engineer Mike, the mic is yours and the floor is yours. Thank you.
I can't hide no more. Okay. Good conversation. Good evening, everybody. Good conversation. You are just in the background, hearing how Dr. John Ajongwen is preparing us, the ladies, for their retirement. And the mindset was a great one from our sister Jolie, our speakers. But Jeffrey is gone again. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Good contribution, good questions. Medlin asked some good questions. Gemma, the same, good questions. Dr. Pat, thanks for your contribution. Mumudu, good questions, bro. Medlin as well. Always appreciate your contributions all the time. I want to prepare my own island, okay? That's my own island that I'll take my own people, they'll come for their retirement, not only the beautiful island of St. Lucia, okay? So we have our own island. We'll prepare, when we finish building it, then we'll let you people know the name. We're building it with Dr. Pat. You will know the name very soon, okay? So
it's not built yet. I got excommunicated already.
What's that now?
You excommunicate me already from the island.
No. Why? No,
I don't know.
I am building it, Dr. Pat, and we have the blueprint. They will build it. They will bring people in to come stay there. Not the one that you need to get some visas before you go there. Our own, you just come. We'll just take you from our lift and take you there. So it will be a different island, our own. So thank you. That was great. I mean, there's a lot of, when I used to go to this web, I don't know nothing about a lot of finance, right? Like Dr. Durham does. But when it's good when we come to these webinars, we'll learn, right? I'm a technical person, very technical. So, but I try to learn. Like Julie was telling me, oh, do the mindset. I'm like, Julie, me, mindset. No, it can't happen. Not me. Not me. You can call Sister Joyce, Dr. Pat can even do it, not me. Jesus, I can't do no mindset. If you want, you can call Sister Loretto, right, from Germany. She will come do it for you, right? Not me. Or it's called Mama Debbie to do it for you, not me. Oh, Dr. Nadu too can do mindset very well in French and English, so you can call her as well. Not me. I'm done. I'm a technical person. I'm no mindset person, right? Or you can call Dr. Derek and do it too. So thank you, Dr. John. I mean, like the conversation went so well. We got the concept, and we got the preparative measures that we got to take while going for our retirement. Not only for the women, for the men too, right? Because doctor, it's a broader topic. It's not just for the women, but today women were spotlighted. But all of us, the men, we should take note too of all of that, right? because if you don't prepare it very well, okay, you know where people who are Dr. John and Pastor Tony, they told us about some jumpsuit kind of thing. Either you end up in that jumpsuit, the orange jumpsuit, because you're not going in alignment with what Big Sam, how do you people call it? Is what Sam now?
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam, okay, with what Uncle Sam say, but I mean, you can also plan your retirement in a very befitting, okay, and honest way without defrauding anybody. Because remember, when you defraud the government or people, the prosecutors will come on you, and you will end up wearing those yellow jumpsuit when Uncle Sam come for you. So let's we'll be honest people. Our CEO is an honest man with an honest business module that he's putting in front of us. That's the kind of honesty that we are required of, right? Not going out there and defrauding people with money. So every day when we come here to this mindset and come to these webinars that does with the excuse me, with what we are expecting, right? We have to change our mindset. We have to change our perspective of life, because what is about to happen to us, if you people have not watched what Mike Ellis just put out some days ago, is September to Remember, okay? The financial freedom that is coming for us. Please go and watch that video and really understand what is coming, you know? If you have not watched 2 days ago was Bob Takusi. He was on how they call it again? Joyce, what's the show? Chris and Marty, Shine the Light.
Shine the Light, yes.
Yeah, so they were there. Bob was 2 days ago, and Uncle Oliver was yesterday. I mean, the way they speak can give you that courage. If you are down already now, that courage. You see, listen to what Mike Ellis said the other day, then remembering again what our CEO came the last time and told us about our recoverable data that is 100% recoverable, has been recovered 100%, our source code has been. So these are the times that we should be excited, right? But being excited is not, are you ready? My question I will always ask you, are we ready to receive what our CEO wants to give to us? Now, how are you ready? You need to go check on all those alternative email addresses that you were using. Go and try to log into them, whether they are in Proton Mail, whether they are in mail.ge, whether they are in Gmail, whether they are in Yahoo Mail, whatever platform, AOL, all of them, Outlook, MSN, every platform that you have those alternative emails. Try to check on them to see if they are working. Because when our CEO is coming back to give us an announcement or give us directives to go on the next level of OnPassive, I would not want you to call me at that time. You call me at that time, I would surely not answer your phone. You know why? Because I'll be busy. I have so many accounts. I'll be busy doing my own account. Or even if I'm not going, I'll work with people who pay attention to what we are now. Like somebody just called me the other day and say, oh, I have this situation. This guy paid him money. He did not activate my account. All till today, I've asked the guy, he's not activating my account, blah, 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 blah. So we've been down for 3 months now. So it's somebody who is not paying attention, right? Do you know? do you know my answer to him? It's just today. It's not like so many days ago. Today, the person sent the message to me. So I call him and I say, oh, my brother, do you remember something? You know, I say, I have always told you people to pay attention to this OnPassive business. It is your business. I cannot be babysitting you. It's your own business. I want to babysit my own business, not your own business. I was not the person who brought you into OnPassive. If you came into OnPassive, your own obligation is to take care of your own business. business, not me babysitting you in your own business. So I told him, hey, this day, on this day, on-passive ecosystem is down. From that time, so you cannot do anything in that ecosystem. You cannot even open your own first account if you have ever migrated. You cannot. Oh, engineer, is that true? I'm like, oh my Jesus. So please, let's pay more attention. It is something. We're laughing now, right? But you will see the real boo-boo when our ecosystem will come back up. Let me tell you what, Dr. Patience and I have seen it all in on-passive, okay? We still have people who we migrated them that they were still in Go Founders. Can you remember how long ago we were in Go Founders? Yeah, we migrated some people who were still in Go Founders. Can you imagine? So please, I'm just begging us, let's prepare ourselves to for the next level of on-passive. Let's get into those alternative emails, try to log into them to see what is going on in there, if they are still usable, because the providers will cancel your account. They will block it up because you're disturbing their space. They need space to host other people's data. If you are not going there to log in, it's a free time, right? You are not paying for the space, right? You are not paying for the storage space. So they will kick you out completely if you stay for so many months, 3 months, 4 months without checking those accounts. Please, let's go and do them. I'm telling you again, you call me, I'll not answer you at that time, except people who are paying attention to the business. Maybe at that time, I'll be in a beautiful island of St. Lucia, okay, or another island. So please don't call me. Let's focus on what is going on now. Let's put our ears on the ground. Let's put our eyes to see what is going on. If there is something you want or you need help or anything, you should send it to us here on this panel. We can talk about that with you and give you some directives on how you can go about whatever shortcomings you're facing, right? But we don't guarantee you that, oh, we will solve your problem. Just talking to you can help you, right? Can make you feel better and things like that. Please. So when these kind of webinars are coming to talk about financial help, to talk about how you'll be managing your business, how you'll be managing your estates, how you'll be preparing for your retirement, how you will need a lot of medical assistance. So like I said again, last time I was telling people, these are the team of people that you need in your organization as we launch on-passive to the next level and we start getting those apples. You will not have time all the time to do everything by yourself. So again, Julie, Pierre, do you remember them? The team, your team. Do you remember what you need in your team? Oh, Sister Joyce, can you remember? Who can remember? I gave a list of personalities that you need or personnel that you need in your team.
Do we have a price if we have to remember?
Yeah, you have a price. Yeah, I'll give you one reseller account.
CPA.
Okay, you
medical
need a
doctor,
CPA. Perfect.
Medical doctor, lawyer.
Yeah, you need a medical doctor.
Personal trainer. Personal trainer.
You need a personal trainer. Yeah.
Lawyer.
You need a lawyer. Perfect. So in that team again, thank you very much, Dr. Pat. We can break it down in a medical team one, right? You need a medical, like a physician. And that physician, you need a nutritionist that will be requiring you for whatever kind of diet that they want you to put you on. It's not every food that you see out there is good food for you to eat, right? You will also need like a physiotherapist. Yeah, you need all of those people in your team. Then you would definitely need like an trainer, personal trainer for exercising, right? That's fall under the medical team as well. Because it's not, I mean, you need to come up home, you burn those calories. When you burn those calories, you'll be able to start up your day again in a good way and ending your day in a good way. You know, the brain keeps on working and we have a lot to do in the world, right? Us Unpacifians will have so many projects. Somebody like me, I don't know if I'll be sleeping even. So let's digest everything that is in front of us now. Let's enjoy the ride while it lasts, because when that time will come, I don't know if these webinars, maybe these webinars will be having them when we are actually on a site doing something. They will broadcast it from our YouTube channels. How about that? And using O Connect. So please, I want to thank everybody that is here tonight. I want to thank our Asian population. I want to thank everybody across the globe. Mama Debbie, I don't even know where you are. So you are like, how they call this, our other sister. She's the Mama Francine. She was in the US too, how many days ago? Now she's in the UK. Very soon she'll be in Germany. They're just going around the globe. I want to be like you people when I grow up. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Let's stay focused. Let's open our ears to hear all the good things that are happening. Maybe like our brother Marty told us today on 360, right? So the CEO can come out at any time. He doesn't announce. He will tell us, and they will announce it to us. He can come out anytime from now and tell us something. So let's open our ears and be on guard. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to rant anyways.
Thank you, Engineer Mike. We always love hearing from you. And just, reminding us that, when things come back up, we need to be ready. So, and when you said that, that's funny. People are still in old founders. I have a few people that are still there. So, but taking this time out to be ready and to make sure everything is in place, and we're ready to go. As Dr. John said, we gotta be on top of everything. We have to know. We have to be involved and aware. And you say this is your business. It's our business, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we know what's happening within this business. This has been such a great conversation tonight, and just loving everything. We're now gonna call on our beautiful sister Julie, the person that's responsible for this whole thing and that's got us here. Julie, thank you.
Thank you, Sister Joyce. Thank you, Dr. John. Once again, great topic tonight. Lots of information as usual. Dr. Pat, thank you for your contribution. Engineer Mike. Sister Debbie, thank you very much. Dr. B, where is Dr. B? She's gone to bed. Thank you, Dr. B, for always being here. Everyone else who contributed, all those who come week after week to this great platform to learn. I learn, like I said tonight to Dr. John, I didn't look at, what he said in this angle. So, it's a learning process for all of us. And we need to be prepared. We need to be ready. We need to be financially ready in order to enjoy our retirement. If you're not financially ready, how can you enjoy retirement? Retirement will be tedious. It will be lonely. It will be, something that we cannot enjoy. So let us put everything together. Let us work on it. Let us create the mindset that we need to move forward, to get ourselves ready for what is coming. Let us continue to pray for our CEO, because let me tell you, this is a spiritual warfare going on. We need to pray. We need to pray. We need to pray. And united we stand. So if we continue praying together, prayer is powerful. I just want to thank everybody who's been praying for my daughter and myself. Thank you very much for your continuous prayers and support and love. And hope to see you guys next week, Wednesday, same time, same place. Once again, thank you, Dr. John. Thank you. We will see you, Dr. John, next week. It's a date, Dr. John, next Wednesday, 8 p.m.